Hello human beings, PowerGamer here. Another year, another Valentine's Day. Every company's favorite time to take advantage of failing relationships and lonely losers. Now, as a lonely loser myself, it's my job to find a better way to spend the time than going on a date. Most people just eat ice cream in their underwear while watching rom-coms, but unfortunately, I'm out of ice cream and my underwear is at the dry cleaners. But I can do that third thing, which is, of course, watching a romantic comedy. But you want to know what's even better than that? An interactive romantic comedy. Though, for today's subject, I use all three of those words very loosely.
Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, one of the weirdest things ever released for a video game console. What, you never heard of it? Well, you have now, and I guarantee your life will never be the same, because this is universally regarded as one of the worst games ever made, yet that's part of what makes it so fascinating. So this is not just a broken mess like Superman 64, horribly designed and frustrating like Ride to Hell Retribution, or it's quite frankly unlike any other game out there. But everything has a story to it, so what does this one have? The game was developed by United Pictures, a studio best known for making Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Yeah, there is barely any information on the studio, and as far as I'm aware, this was their only game. It was published by Kieran Entertainment, a subsidiary of Digital Stuff Inc., based in Fremont, California. The game was directed by a man named Michael Anderson, who, as far as I'm aware, has no public presence whatsoever, and this seems to be the only thing he's made, or at the very least, it's the only one with his name on it. A lot of this game's background has been shrouded in mystery for years. All that was really known for a while was that it was made during the full motion video rise, which would use live-action footage that was then scanned into the game. It primarily starred Gene Bassone, apologies if I said that wrong, a former wrestler who apparently did this as a favor for a friend, and Edward J. Foslow, whose only other credit on IMDb is Visions of Sugar Plums. I don't think I want to know more. According to Bassone, the game was made largely as a joke, and she didn't expect it to actually hit store shelves, which honestly explains a lot. The game was released as a PC-ROM in 1993, and had a more proper release for the Panasonic 3DO on September 30th, 1994. I couldn't find the exact sales numbers, but I can't imagine them being good, especially since there were only a limited number of PC copies made, and the 3DO was already one of the biggest commercial failures in gaming history. So the game quickly faded into obscurity, but nowadays it is widely regarded as a piece of trash you need to see to believe. This is one of those weird, obscure games that was completely forgotten until the internet got a hold of it. Nobody had ever heard of this game for the longest time, but once people began to realize how fun it was to make fun of old garbage, its legacy as one of the most uniquely bad games ever made launched it into stardom. So much so that a remastered version was released on modern consoles by Limited Run Games in 2024.
Yes, that's right, helpless romantics. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is officially playable on more consoles than Pokemon Emerald. And as a connoisseur of garbage myself, I of course had to pick up a copy of it, because sometimes watching videos isn't enough. To truly experience something so infamous, you gotta check it out firsthand, which is one of the best ways to spend this day of commercialized love, so let's do it together.
The game opens with an FMV of this woman named Jane giving you an introduction of what you're gonna see, I think. What she really says here is just a bunch of random nonsense.
The point is, life's a game, and this game is full of life. You do right by me, and I guarantee I'll do right by you.
There's a cut halfway through which removes her clothes just so they can do this very important close-up shot, and then we get a disclaimer that you normally see on cartoons from the 1940s.
Which is also Limited Run's way of saying, hey, we don't take credit for this, we just brought it back.
We then get the finest title screen that Microsoft Paint can offer, as well as the opening credits. A bunch of race car pictures with these weird filters. It keeps interjecting shots of this guy in bed, so I guess this is supposed to be his dream or something? This thing goes on for like 2 minutes, and it has nothing of value. Get used to hearing me say that. The man, whose name is John, is then woken up by his mother berating him. Apparently, John's a plumber, and his mom wants him to wear a tie. Subtle, but she's also very concerned about his love life.
Why is it I haven't seen you with any woman? Why is that, John? Don't you like women anymore? John, are you gay?
I beg your pardon?
She suggests he asks out this girl named Amy, who has a wonderful personality, but he's not interested. She doesn't care, though, as she's more concerned with him giving her grandchildren than his happiness and stability.
You hate me, don't you? You hate my guts. Well, don't you? Go on, admit it.
Mothers of the Year, everybody. She then orders him to come over for dinner later that night, and he tries to muffle himself with a pillow. Wait, huh?
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry, I guess that was the traditional transition dog. I'm not very familiar with that.
We then cut to Jane, that woman from the opening, getting a call from her father.
Where are you, Jane?
You called her landline. Where do you think she is? The morgue?
Jane gets basically the same speech from her father about needing to have kids, and yeah, I don't think you should be listening to the guy getting wasted at 7 in the morning. That's pretty much the story. John and Jane are both being pressured by their parents to get married and have kids, and apparently it's your job to get them together.
But I'm sure you're wondering how you're supposed to do that. Well, that's where the gameplay comes in. That's it.
Yeah, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties has got to be the most basic non-game game I have ever played in my life. All you do is sit around watching stuff happen, and then every once in a while you get to choose what happens next, though I use the term choose very loosely because there's only really one clear path you can follow. If you make the wrong choice, the game just sends you back. A lot of people debate whether or not this can even be qualified as a game, and I can see why because there's almost no interactivity whatsoever. There are visual novels with more prominent gameplay than this. The box says it plays like a game but feels like a movie, and I find that extremely misleading because neither of those things are true. You can literally go through the entire game without even holding the controller. Just put it down and occasionally push a button while doing something else. But if there's anything lazier than the gameplay, it's the presentation. You probably noticed by now that nothing is moving. This isn't some weird editing trick. This is actually how the game looks. Aside from the opening clip, the game is presented entirely with still images and audio dubbed over it. And it's easily the most iconic aspect of this game because of how, frankly, stupid and ridiculous it is. This game was advertised as full motion video, but there is no video, motion, or full to be found anywhere in here. And that's not even getting into all these random filters they throw on screen. To top it all off, the acting feels like something from a VHS tape you find in the back of a rental store, the music that plays in the background is stupid, and the writing is abysmal, and not really in a charmingly cheesy way.
After doing some research, apparently the reason it's basically a slideshow was because they were afraid of some of the game's content will receive an adults-only rating from the ESRB, but the game literally says you have to be 18 to even get to that stuff, so that's either pointless or a lie. Regardless, it makes the game feel even lazier than it already is, and since the gameplay is even more basic than the Stanley Parable, there really isn't anything to give an overview of, so let's just look at what actually happens.
Well, after Jane hangs up on her father, we get connecting shots of her and John taking showers set to 50s rock music. Then a warning comes on that isn't really needed because their parts are blocked by these weird face things.
I mean, what kind of censorship is that?
Plus, the warning tells you to close your eyes until the music ends, but I think they underestimated how much music there is. Because after the showers, the montage of them starting their days just keeps going. They get dressed, lift weights, play air guitar with a plunger, play with a cat, put on a tie they said they didn't want to wear, and then finally go to their jobs. John gets on a motorcycle with the stupidest license plate I've ever seen, while Jane gets in her car to partake in distracted driving. They pull into a parking lot where they finally see each other, and it appears to be love at first sight. This is then interrupted by this guy named Harry Amos, the narrator, who also played Jane's father. He says the control of the story is in our hands, and it's up to us to get them together.
One wrong move, and you're sitting home on a Saturday night.
Today's Friday.
And then finally, 20 minutes into this pile of trash, we get our first choice. We can have John make the first move, Jane make the first move, or have them meet later. I don't know, let's just go with John.
I don't think so.
Wait. How about dinner? A weekend in Paris?
You're jumping the gun a bit there, buddy. I think Utah would be a better choice.
She says no and begins to walk off, so now we have to choose if he pursues her or waits to strike his prey. I say we let him wait. I mean, it's not like he has a job or anything to get to. Oh wait, yes he does. He's a plumber. Jane walks into the building for a job interview with this guy named Thresher, who explains the position she's applying for was randomly cancelled. No idea how that works, but hey, at least he didn't require 10 years of experience for an entry-level position. Jane, however, begs Thresher to give her a job, leading to our next choice. Either he finds something for her after all, he turns her away, or takes advantage of the situation.
Note, you must be 18 or over to take a look at this decision.
Well, get out of here, kids, because my curiosity's getting the better of me.
You know, perhaps something can be worked out after all.
Yes?
Take your clothes off, Jane.
Wow, he didn't hesitate at all.
Here? Now?
Read my lips.
I can't, you're just a picture.
Jane then starts going on about a time she got lost as a kid before he snaps at her.
I just sat down and blew my little head off until...
Take your clothes off!
No, the proper response is, what the hell does that have to do with anything?
The narrator gets mad at us for putting Jane in a jeopardizing position, and we get another choice. Either she declines this disgusting proposal, or she'll do anything to get the job.
Oops, my finger slipped.
Jane says she actually likes this kind of stuff, as evidenced by her ability to pull whip and handcuffs out of thin air. Doy. She then begins to take control and...
We know who's the boss now, don't we, Mike?
Can I show this?
The narrator gets really pissed this time, so much so that he puts on a chicken mask?
Sorry, First Amendment.
I've guided a lot of people through this story.
You know, I kinda doubt that.
Well, that didn't go well, so let's make the other choice. She still takes her shirt off, but then gets cold feet, which she uses to kick him. He was apparently filming this, so she threatens to show it to his wife. This is the only time him having a wife is ever mentioned, so he grabs a pen, or whatever this thing is, and comes after her. She then hides in the men's room while he goes after her in the woman's room.
I'm sure there's some joke I can make out of this, but I got none.
And then they run out into the parking lot where her shirt mysteriously comes back. John, who was just sitting out there this whole time, sees this and tries to intervene. But then we get interrupted by the narrator again. Wait, huh?
Who the hell are you?
That's a very good question. So he wrestles with this karate girl for a second before she takes the mic.
Finally got rid of that obnoxious character. And that horrible music.
Hey, she said it, not me.
Name's Thelma. I'm what's known as a takeover artist.
That's not a thing.
So apparently she's in charge now, which means we get reprimanded again.
I don't believe it. How could you make such choices?
Put a sock in it and let me get back to my crappy game.
Were you raised in a barn?
No, I'm just bored.
You deserve every run as what you have gotten, and even more.
I don't care, shut up.
After that pointless nonsense, we can either have John join in the chase or distract Thresher. Yeah, let's go with that one. She gets away while Thresher compliments John on his tie and says he must be confused about his feelings. He then kisses him, offers him a chance to talk, and they walk off together holding hands, with John asking if Thresher wants to meet his mother.
Okay, hell with John and Jane getting together. This is the best ending in the game. We're done here. Dang it! Yeah, well, that was worth a try.
So we have John run after them, which leads to this intense high-speed chase throughout the city. Well, as intense as a bunch of pictures is able to convey. Also, Jane's shirt's gone again, because I guess the thing has magic powers. This chase goes on for like 3 minutes. They reuse the same voice clips multiple times, and it's all edited together so horribly it's nearly impossible to actually follow what's happening. Not helping is all the stupid filters and random drawings thrown in. How far are they even running anyway? There's been like 12 different locations in this entire montage. Why are there words in the air? Why is this phone ringing so poorly edited? Who the hell is this guy? And what is the point of any of this? Then it suddenly goes from 50s rock music to horror music as Jane is cornered in an abandoned building.
Go, call the police.
Wait a minute, whoa. I can make you an offer you won't refuse. There's no way you'll refuse it. It's been proven in many, many movies.
What, you're gonna sing some cheesy song about how you changed your ways and we should all get along?
Nope, he instead offers her $5 million to spend a night with him. $5 million? What company does he run? Then the false narrator from earlier interrupts on behalf of women everywhere because apparently the story is sexist, and the other guy comes back to commit murder.
Again, this will be a lot more exciting with movement.
They put an X over her face to signify she's dead, and a bunch of dogs applaud. What the hell am I playing right now? Then he goes into a rant about how the story is sexist towards men, and you know what? I don't care anymore, because he also insults me, too.
I hate to imagine what your love life is like.
Can't be much worse than yours.
We can have Jane accept Thresher's offer or reject it. You only live once, let's have her go for it. Never mind, I regret this decision, because the next 4 minutes is a bunch of pointless price negotiations between Jane and Thresher. All this just for a few poker games.
5.5, and that's top dollar.
No way, I ain't no slut.
She says she's trying to sell herself.
This apparently goes on for hours, as later that night, which still has light outside, they are somehow still going! Just take the money and leave, woman! Eventually they settle on a price, but John says this whole thing is stupid, which I completely agree with.
Thresher's gonna make me rich.
Hey, you know what they say, it's the oldest profession in the world.
Turns out he doesn't have $5 million, but he instead offers her $1,000 for the weekend, which she accepts.
What was the point of all that stupid negotiation?
Then John tries to profess his love for Jane.
I mean, but $5 million's nothing compared to our love.
What love? You just met!
She knees him in the crotch and walks off with Thresher.
If it's in my eyes, then I can't help it. I was born this way.
Ew.
Jane ends up with a hairball and enters the oldest profession in the book.
Hey, quit stealing my jokes.
He gets scolded with the chicken mask again and have to go back. If you choose the rejection option, John scolds Thresher and tells Jane he loves her and has seen her in his dreams. What dreams? You met this morning. Did you take a nap on your motorcycle?
And just to give you an idea of how much the team cared about this game, they actually left in a flub line and them laughing about it. I'm not joking.
I've been searching for you.
Freudian slip?
I'm gonna keep that in the script.
Anyways, John goes on about how he's been searching for love while Thresher keeps trying his offer.
How about $1,000 for a couple of hours?
Sure thing, buddy. Your place or mine.
Who the hell is this? Okay, so this random lady walks in and accepts Thresher's offer, so John and Jane leave him behind. They go back to the parking lot where her shirt reappears and we get one final choice. The Hollywood ending or something completely different. Yeah, sure, I'll take the Hollywood ending. The two of them kiss and are applauded by all the people not watching because nobody played this game and decide to actually talk about themselves. Yeah, this entire time they've only shared like one conversation with each other. John starts with a confession about himself.
There's something you have to know.
Yes? What is it, dear?
Well, you see, it's about my work.
I star in terrible video games.
No, he says he's really a plumber, but Jane says that can't be because, say it with me now, plumbers don't wear ties. He tries to insist that he is a plumber, but she doesn't believe him. Though really she doesn't care what he is as long as he isn't a lawyer. Alright, that's finally over, and we can actually see the credits. Who are these people? Whatever, I don't care. I will admit the extra credits and the remaster are pretty funny.
Well, there's still a few choices I didn't make, but we'll get to those in a minute. Right now, let's check out some of the stuff the remaster added.
Well, it actually opens with a recreation of the original FMV with Jane, same actress and everything. But the main thing added is this new mode called Plumb the Depths. This is basically a crappy horror game where you walk around this dark maze while Thresher chases you, and if he catches you, you go back to the beginning. But you can grab these plungers to shoot him, which gets rid of him for a bit. The purpose of this is you can find different pieces of bonus material, which can be viewed later. Yeah, that's easily the main purpose of getting this remaster, since this stuff is honestly pretty cool. Most of the clips are behind-the-scenes interviews with people involved in both the original game and the remaster, giving more information on it. You can also look at an image gallery, check out some deleted scenes, and there's even a copy of the game's entire script. I'm gonna be honest, this is more interesting than the game itself. Okay, that's enough having fun. Let's get back to the game. If you have Jane make the first move, she gives John her phone number and then kisses him.
And if you want anything, all you have to do is ask.
In that case, can you fix my roof? It's leaky.
She walks away, and John thinks that it's too good to be true, so he begins insulting her.
How could she give me her number? She doesn't even know me. She's a slut.
He realizes the number is fake and then proceeds to play with the mirror on her car. Then we switch to a completely different scene where both of them think they're not good enough for each other.
Chicks don't like white guys anymore.
I'm sorry, what?
Now we see completely different people. Well, okay, now I know who those people in the credits were, but I still question, who are they and why are they here? The guy flirts with the girl, she kicks him in the nuts, and then it cuts back to Jane thinking about wanting a normal life.
Maybe an affair with the meter man.
I think that would screw things up a bit.
Then it cuts to other people again? What is happening right now? Oh, wait, now I think I get it. This is supposed to be a fantasy that they're having. Shame it's just a complete waste of time. Well, anyways, this one has the woman kiss the guy, but he reveals he has a bunch of girls that he sees, so she beats him up. They rethink it again, but this time the girl's exotic and the guy is an incel.
The storyline even gave you extra characters to fool around with. And you still couldn't get the two lovebirds together.
Yeah, because I had no idea what was happening!
So we go back and have the meet later on, leading to the exact same fantasy thing as last time, skipping it back to the right path where after Jane rejects Zahn, he can pursue her by giving her flowers he randomly found. She asks about his job and he decides to lie about being an account representative, which somehow works. She promises to call him, so he jumps for joy and then waits in the parking lot, meaning this is the only time both options actually progress the story. Then we go back to the job interview, and if he does find her a position, she becomes his secretary and he offers her a weekend with him in his bachelor pad. Yeah, he clearly has other plans. Jane accepts, and when she goes back out, John tries to confess to her, which she responds to by punching him in the face and driving off. The narrator comes back and take off the freaking chicken mask and says I made the wrong choice.
Okay, the narrator is one of the stupidest things about this game, because no matter what choice you make, you get continuously assaulted, even when going down the path the game clearly wants you to follow. Screw you, you annoying dipwad.
Whatever, let's just wrap this up quickly. If Thresher turns her away, he gives her typical boss talk and throws her out. She grows increasingly desperate, so she decides to take a chance on John, but by the time she goes outside, he's already left. Well, the only route where he actually cares about his job. Now let's just skip ahead to the only choice I haven't made, which is the ending. Give me something completely different. Well, it is different, alright, as Jane reveals that she doesn't want to get married. She wants to become a nun, which John isn't too thrilled about.
Well, you see, I get these urges deep down inside. Sometimes they're uncontrollable unless it's taken care of, like right away.
No, I don't like where this is going.
Jane said she used to have the same problems because the devil was in her soul at one point, but she was able to pull through and stay pure. She then leaves him, and the narrator reveals that now John is going to be forced into a shotgun wedding by his mother. You know what? I think I can live with that.
Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my entire life. The gameplay is as basic as it gets, the presentation is beyond lazy, and to top it off, there is barely anything in here. You can literally experience the entire game in like an hour. The only way I can see you enjoying this game is if you gather up a group of friends to make fun of it like you're watching a bad movie, because there are plenty of moments in here that are so stupid it is hilarious. But even then, you're better off just watching it on YouTube, since while there are some funny moments in here, the majority of it is just freaking boring. I've seen some people debate about whether or not this can even be qualified as a game because of how little there is to it, and I think there is just barely enough in here, but in doing so, that makes this not the worst game I've ever played in my life, but it is at least top 3. Again, if you like this kind of garbage, maybe you can have some fun in here, but even in that department, I think you're better off with something else, and there's certainly better ways to spend your Valentine's Day, like watching a real movie, or taking fencing lessons, or just going for a nice walk outside, which, you know what, that sounds really pleasant. I think I'm gonna do that myself. Oh yeah, people forget Valentine's Day's in the middle of winter.
Hi, my name is Jane. We hardly know each other, but that's about to change. You're going to get to know a lot about me, maybe even more than you imagine. This whole thing's kind of like a blind date. I mean, here we are in your brand new Corvette, riding along the super information highway. You put your big muscular arm around me and whisper sweet things in my ear. And I promise